Hey everybody, it's Nick. Let me do quick retweets and we'll get right into it. College football. It's time. It is time. Uh, so much to talk about. Sorry, I got retweet. Bam. So much to talk about. College football. Just me, no Matt. Thank God. Matt bitched out this morning, per usual. The typical excuses. Oh, I got a job. I got this. I got that. I don't know anything about football. I'm incompetent. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm feeling great. Thank you for asking, Lockdown. It's Georgia versus TCU. Who saw it? Absolutely no one at the beginning of the year. But let's get right into it. We can wait for a couple more people to pile in, and then if you have any questions, just start preloading them in the chat. But let's talk about this. Number one, let's get this out of the way. Number one, let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's underdogs in the national championship game, and especially big underdogs. Okay, because that's the first thing that's going to come up. First of all, this is the biggest spread in the national championship game there has ever been. At least in recent times. I didn't go back past 2000, so forgive me if there's a 1940 40-point dog. Nonetheless, let's go right down through them. First of all, the line we have is at 12.5. You can see 13.5. It depends on which way you want to bet as to what side you want to go. But 2002, you have Ohio State. It was plus 11.5 versus the Miami. They won outright. Okay. 2013, you have Auburn plus 11 versus Florida State. They only lost by 3. 2000, you have Oklahoma plus 10.5 versus Florida State. Oklahoma won by 11. And then we all have the absolute massacre that was 2012. Alabama minus 10 versus Notre Dame. Bama just smacked them 42-14. 42-12. 42-12 or 14. I might have wrote that down wrong. But absolute. Other than that, it's been pretty good as far as dogs are concerned. Now, this is a completely different situation. I would say if TCU wins, this would be the greatest upset of all time. And you're like, oh, well, it's only 12.5. That happens all the time. You got to account for the fact that we're in the national championship. The national championship. What? TCU in 2019 was 5-7. In 2020 was 6-4. In 2021 was 5-7 again. And they're playing for a national championship in 2022. That's just beyond impressive. It's something you have to account for. It would be the greatest upset of all time. Yes, Trevor, they did win. Why aren't they in the championship? Because they suck, dude. They suck. No, they didn't win. All right, but let's get right into it. So much to talk about. Let's talk about how TCU covers, number one. It's the same way they won versus Michigan. It's based off turnovers, okay? So Georgia has a glaring defect, and it's their turnover margin. They're -1. They're 74th in the country, while TCU is +9. That's how TCU got ahead of Michigan in the first game. Obviously, they had 2 defensive touchdowns and 2 turnovers overall. Getting that early lead, 20-6, that's huge for a team like TCU. They need to create one-on-one matchups with the Georgia corners, kind of like what Marvin Harrison Jr. did. Is it going to be a problem? Yeah, it's so you still have Keely Ringo and great corners and talent everywhere across Georgia, okay? But you just have to create one-on-one matchups. TCU is more likely to score outside of the red zone than they are inside the red zone. Let me say that again. TCU is more likely to score outside the red zone than they are inside the red zone. It's just too explosive. TCU's 5th in the country as far as explosive plays. They're right in front of Georgia, who's 6th in the country. They have to get Max Duggan running the ball. Georgia has to account for him on the field. Georgia plays a lot of man defense They play that Knicks defense with 3 down linemen, everybody else standing up. A lot of man defense. So when you get in man coverage, obviously your back's to the ball. Max Duggan's got to take advantage and run the ball, and make sure that you have someone spying on him. If all that can be accounted for, then TCU has a chance at a national championship. That being said, I don't know if that's enough in itself. There we go. I'm everywhere right now. I'm just excited. I'm shaking. I've been thinking about this the entire day, entire week, entire everything. All right, so let's go into injuries. Miller, the running back for TCU, that's going to be a big question as to whether he's going to be actually playing. He's questionable at this time. 50-50 chance, everything I'm seeing. He has an MCL sprain in his knee. It's half healed. And this is a quote: "Tomorrow, definitely going to be pretty much deciding factor if I can go or not. Definitely going to give it a try." Everybody else, they're pretty healthy throughout the line. Offensive, defensive, just all over the ball. They're pretty healthy. Georgia, on the other hand, has a lot more question marks that come into play. Warren McClellan is their right tackle. He will be playing. He did not play in the last game. He hurt himself during the LSU SEC championship game. Ladd McConkey had that critical 2-point conversion. He hurt his knee. You could see how much pain he was in. He is limited at this time. I don't know if he'll be playing, and that's a huge loss. Some call him the safety net for the mailman, Mr. Mailman. And then the big one, Darrell Washington is questionable with the ankle. Again, he made the travel. He's gonna try it out. I don't know as well as how much he can be effective in this kind of scenario. They're gonna need him to block. Still have Brock Bowers and a talented tight end room, but definitely a huge loss if he wouldn't be able to play. I think he'll be able to make it. He's a big, tough guy. He should be able to try. Let's see. Georgia, things that people aren't talking about is players that Georgia's got back from the regular season, right? Arian Smith, you saw that him score the touchdown late in the game. He's got unmatched speed, just unmatched. A.D. Mitchell is back as well, and that's going to be a huge problem. The problem is, as well as what TCU needs to do, is generate pressure. Their 100th in generated pressure going up against Georgia, who is 7th in pressure allowed as far as their offensive line. Ohio State did a great job of forcing Stetson Bennett to get the ball out quick, make some critical turnovers, which didn't work out well. But does TCU have the same firepower that Ohio State does? No, I don't think so. What Georgia really needs to do is not try to run the ball. Yes, they're going up against a 3-3-5, but I think they just need to continue to let Stetson Bennett do what he's done all year and open up this offense with the weapons they have, and really just put the pedal to the metal and put points on the board. Don't make dumb mistakes. Don't force the ball or anything like that. If you get in a situation, you can throw it out of bounds, but don't be shy. Don't be conservative. Go for the home run, go for the throat, and continue to just do what you do and dominate and play football. And defensively, they play the Knicks defense with 3 down linemen, and everybody else is standing up. What TCU has to do is continue to try to mesh the ball and confuse Georgia defensively, but that's the problem. Georgia runs a defense like no other. They have a lot of talent. They might not have the best pass rushing talent or huge names as far as that's concerned, but they're very talented. They're very disciplined, and they're very smart. Kirby Smart's always going to have a smart, talented defense that's going to rally to the ball. No lazy tackling like Michigan did. Don't make that comparison as far as, Michigan missed all these tackles. Georgia's not going to miss tackles. They're number one versus the run. They're gonna gang tackle. If one misses it, 1 to 3 people are right behind him, ready to tackle and take over that ball. Let's see. I have so much notes. It's crazy. Um, Max Duggan rushing yards. See, okay, let's get into it. So, number one, I'm in Virginia. It sucks. I have no player props. I have nothing. I don't even know the lines are. It's unfortunate. Max Duggan rushing yards. If you like TCU, I would go Max Duggan rushing yards over 33 and a half. That's what they need to do. Again, Georgia plays a lot of man defense, a lot. And with that, obviously, that creates backs to the quarterback, especially if you're in longer passing plays. Things break down. Boom. I have not been outside of my house in like a week and a half, other than yesterday. So it is what it is. Let's see. So much to talk about. Duh, duh, duh. Uh, let's just go right. TCU needs to isolate their wide receivers, create one-on-one matchups versus Georgia corners like Ohio State with Marvin Harrison Jr. TCU is more likely to score from the 40 plus than the red zone. The red zone difference between so first of all, Georgia's defense and offense in the red zone is just insane. That's why I love them. They just finish no matter what. Again, but that's something TCU can do. They do have talented wide receivers. Here's the problem: if Georgia can get to the quarterback, they're gonna have problems because they're not gonna be able to run the ball. At least on paper, your running backs hurt. You're going up against the number one run defense in the country and the best tackling team in the country. You're gonna have to create. You're gonna basically have to pass the ball like Ohio State did. That being said, you don't have the same offensive line Ohio State did. That was the real problem with Georgia. They could not get any pressure, and when they did, they couldn't get to the quarterback and tackle. That being said, Max Duggan can do the same thing and create and extend plays, which I do see being a problem for Georgia. Again, Max Duggan rushing yards would not be something I would hate. But I think it's just I just think it's a game where we completely pull away. And yes, I'm a Georgia fan. It is what it is. I am a Georgia fan. And I'm talking in circles, but my God, I'm excited. When I saw 13 and a half open up, it basically said, hey, please bet TCU. My God, please bet TCU. Come in here. Please bet TCU. Please, please, please. I'm going to continue to wait. I think 12 and a half is probably the best it gets. Maybe it goes to 11 and a half. I doubt it. I'm going to be taking the 12 and a half. Boom, boom, boom. Again, the unfortunate part is I don't have access to the lines as far as that's concerned. So if you want to throw up lines, let me know. That's hilarious. I love it. 14 and a half is a good number. I mean, obviously a good football number. The over I do like as well. Obviously, if TCU is going to be in this game, it's going to be with an over, especially at 53 and a half. I don't hate that boost whatsoever. But I do think that Georgia just pulls away with this one. And Kirby Smart's not a guy who's going to let teams hang around, whether it be 14, 21, 28, so on and so forth. They're going to put up points and they're going to continue to, be a focused team that's has one goal in mind, and that's winning a national championship. You aren't wrong, Ron. Please let me know your questions in your chat. I'm going to, let's see. Obviously, we have Brock Bowers, still the best tight end in the country. Shut up, Notre Dame fans. He's the best tight end in the country. We have the best tight end group in the country. He might look like a oversized wide receiver in your local YMCA, but nonetheless, he is the real deal. Thoughts on the over? I would lean over 63 and a half. I think that originally I was gonna do Georgia team total 36.5. That's already moved up to 38.5 everywhere, 39.5. So that's something that I'm kind of staying with. The 38.5, it's a football number, obviously. I'm staying away, but yeah, I do think that Georgia will put up some points. Oh, what's the numbers on those? What's the odds on that? Let me know. Over. I mean, you just have to go with the odds. You have to go with the odds, Jim. You have to. It's a play. It's a play. I thought the last time was the last time until it wasn't. Minus 115. I do like that. Stetson Bennett to throw a touchdown in each half. I do like that. I do think that points will be, put up. They have plenty of talent as far as at the wide receiver. Getting AD Mitchell back is huge, along with some other pieces. It's massive. Let's see. This is just turned into a Q&A, which is fine. I just wanted to get on here, talk to some people. Boom. Guys, more, yeah. I mean, if you're going to, so again, Chad, if you're going to do an over and you like Georgia, I mean, it doesn't hurt to do the 14-point favorite and add a little plus money. That being said, if you're prepared to possibly lose on Georgia money line, that's up to you. I would be prepared. It is what it is. So, keys of the game, right? So, Georgia, continue to do what you do. Play great defense. Force Max Duggan into bad situations. Play smart defense. Don't try to overextend yourself or get crazy. Do what you got you there. Good tackling, rallying to the ball, smart defense. Offensively, pedal the metal, okay? It's a 3-3-5. You should be able to run against it, but so did Michigan think they'd be able to run against it. Just play smart offense. I keep saying that, but turnovers is the key for TCU. So that's why I'm continuing to saying that. If TCU can force turnovers, then you're putting yourself in a hole for sure. And that's been your weakness all year. Again, 74th in turnover margin for a team that's top 10 in everything. They're 74th in turnover margin. Georgia needs to create pressure on Max Duggan. And again, give Mr. Mailman himself some time to throw the ball. Use your weapons. Spread the offense. Don't force yourself just to run. Use Brock Bowers, Adrian Smith, AD Mitchell, so on and so forth. Hopefully Darrell Washington is able to play as well. If you're TCU, turnovers. Use Max Duggan to run the ball. Isolate your wide receivers. Hopefully you can get a running game going, but I would not count on it. Make sure you're able to tackle and try to get pressure and force the Georgia quarterback to make stupid mistakes. That's basically the key to getting stuff done. Other than that, it's pretty hard. Yeah, I can't do any of those. All right. I do like Max Duggan to throw the ball, so play from behind. I think that's from the beginning. Stetson Bennett over 279. If they play the way I want them to play, then yes, I think that's an over as well. I think they need to use him to throw the ball continuously. Bowers should be a good one. McConkey, I would not touch him. He looks awful as far as at least the last time we saw him was on that 2-point conversion. If you go back and watch that play, he was hurt, absolutely hurt. Here's the problem with Georgia. They have too many weapons, and it just depends on who wants to get free. I really do like Arian Smith. He's not even up there. Great. But yeah, I like Max Duggan to go over yards because he's going to be playing from behind. They're not going to be able to run the ball. They have to pass it. Bennett should be able to throw and should continue to throw the ball. Hopefully they just continue to pile up the points. McConkey, I would not touch. Bowers is always a good play. A.D. Mitchell might be a good one there too. Everyone else is so on and so. I mean, it's a pick and choose. It just depends on what Stetson Bennett wants to do. Unfortunately can't get any of those in Virginia. Bennett 2.5 touchdowns. I don't hate it, but I'm not a huge touchdown guy. I think it's a lot of situational stuff. I do like this one the best if you're going to go with touchdowns. 1 touchdown each half. That's completely reasonable throughout. Again, I'm taking the 12.5, minus 12.5 at -110. That is the play. Georgia, there's no rule saying that in the national championship you can't have a blowout. It's been a good run. I respect TCU. I like what they've done. I love the game versus Michigan, but this is kind of a different animal. And you lose your running back. It's just not an equation you want to be part of. Guys, if there's any more questions, let me know. Other than that, I just wanted to hop on real quick, kind of, do a little brief rundown. Scrambled. My brain is absolutely a mess. I'm a little bit of a mess today. I'm excited. I'm absolutely excited. It's going to be an awesome time. As long as we win. If we lose, I might delete my account. How am I feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling nervous. Health-wise, yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm kicking. Guys, bet responsibly. Go Dogs. Max Duggan. It's been fun, dude. Go home. You're a loser. I'm just kidding. Please don't hurt me. Guys, bet responsibly. Any last thing? Okay. All right. Bet responsibly, guys. Georgia minus 12.5. Bet responsibly. Bet responsibly. Bet responsibly.